Hey, Hohen,
Yeah.
what day is today?
Toonie Tuesday.
Toonie Tuesday?
Yeah.
What day is it though? Like what day of the month?
Huh? I don't know. February 28th?
Yeah, you know what? It doesn't feel like February 28th. It feels like March 3rd. There's too many trades going on right now today, guys. It feels like it's already trade deadline day because wow, there has been an absolute mega ton of deals going down today. It's unreal. And we just wanted to go over some with you guys because this has been truly, truly unexpected. And I'm going to start off with one of the first trades of the day, and that was Jesse Puljujarvi from the Edmonton Oilers getting traded over to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for prospect Patrick Pachula.
Yeah, I mean, Yasi Puljujarvi, I mean, I hope he works out in Carolina Hurricanes. He's a fan favorite here in Edmonton. The Bison King is what these people like to call it here. I'm not so sure if that's a good nickname for him, but you know what? We have given him many chances, and he just hasn't able to grasp that opportunity. Unfortunately, he hasn't panned out to be the fourth overall pick that we thought that he would be. Although I have seen his game progressively improve little by little every year. He has turned into a decent third line, fourth line player where he can use his size, forecheck. But I'm sure under the Carolina Hurricane system, being with a full Finnish team, I feel like he's gonna flourish more in the offensive side of his game.
Yeah, this is quite a letdown for the Edmonton Oilers. Usually when you have a lottery pick in the top five, you really expect big things. This guy was projected to be like a 30, 35 goal scorer, and he never really got there. He kind of had troubles grasping positioning in the offense in general, and he had his opportunities. He had time to play with both Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, but really never was able to get anything going and kind of looked lost out there. But I think being on Carolina, being on a team that it has the most Finnish players in the entire league, and especially with his friend Sebastian Aho, who he played together back in Finland for the World Junior Championship multiple years, I think that is going to be really good for his development. I think this is a player who still has some positives to his game. Big body player, still has a pretty good shot, even though he hasn't been as accurate lately, but a lot of power behind that shot. And I think once he's with these guys and he's more like in a group where they all kind of talk and get along and kind of have some chemistry, I think that he could become a 25 goal scorer and add something to this Carolina team, at least for some depth.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a pretty decent acquisition for the Carolina Hurricanes. So, like Scott alluded to, he's going to be with a lot of his friends, a lot with his countrymen, right? A lot of Finnish players on this team that are going to help him. I feel like the off ice was a big issue here in Edmonton with the language barrier. The culture is a little different. You know, most of the players that are on the Oilers roster are American, North American. So it's different. But I feel like with this team, especially with Sebastian Aho, Kotkaniemi, all these Teravainen, all these guys are all Finnish players, and they're going to help him. You know, this guy was fourth overall pick. Still has a lot of potential. I wish he has a lot of power behind that shot, just not very accurate. He just shoots at the goalie most of the time. But I feel like Jesse Puljujarvi is one of those players that can be a very good power forward in this league. If he uses legs, he uses size, skate to the net, go to blue paint, try to find those chippy goals, he'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll have to give it a couple years on Carolina before we officially declare him a bust, but it definitely hasn't been the best start. Now let's just talk quickly about how this is going to affect the Edmonton Oilers. Sure, the prospect they got back in Patrick Pachula is not going to really add much to their team in the near future. Not likely a guy who's going to make the roster anytime soon. But that $3 million they're going to get in cap space could be pivotal for what they do at the trade deadline and what moves they make to make this roster stronger for a playoff run.
Yep, I mean, they're after defensemen on the team, and I think they're going to get one.
And man, it took maybe only half an hour after this trade went down that we got notifications there was another huge trade, and this one really shocked me, especially as a Caps fan. And that was the Washington Capitals making a deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs to send Erik Gustafsson and Boston's first-round pick they just got in the Orlov Hathaway trade in exchange for Rasmus Sandin from the Toronto Maple Leafs. I did not see anything like this coming, but you know what? As a Caps fan, I think I'm okay with it. Rasmus Sandin is a former first-round pick who has slowly been improving year after year for Toronto, and I really like that ad for Washington.
I actually like this trade for both sides. So even for Toronto's perspective, I really like it because Erik Gustafsson is a more experienced defenseman that can play on the third pairing defenseman now, which much more experienced than Rasmus Sandin. Toronto Maple Leafs are in a win-now state, win-now mode. Versus this is also a good trade for Washington Capitals because they needed some young blood in the system, and Rasmus Sandin is a promising young defenseman that they badly need in the lineup.
Yeah, when I look at it, Eric Gustafsson for Toronto adds in a lot more offensive pop. I mean, look at what he's been doing for Carlson, filling in on the power play for Washington. Just been unreal, putting up insane numbers right now. And on top of that, I think that first round pick, it kind of works for both teams because I personally believe Kyle Dubas is not done yet.
Nope.
This guy is a psycho, man. He's just going to keep going and keep making moves. This guy has no fear right now. He's just trying to make moves to keep his job alive as the GM of the Maple Leafs. And I think he's going to flip that pick to get another player to help this roster. But I think losing the 31st overall pick roughly is what Boston's would be, 31st, 32nd, is still okay for the Capitals because really, who are they going to get that's going to be better at that point than Rasmus Sandin in the draft? That's why I actually agree with Hohen. I think this is a good trade for both sides.
Yeah, who is this Kyle Dubas? I've never seen this Kyle Dubas in my life. Have you?
He's making moves, man.
I've never seen this.
No fear.
I'm like, whoa, he's making moves again. Moves after moves after moves after moves. They're like, Tampa what?
Hey,
Tampa
you know what?
what?
I got to thank this guy because he's providing us a lot of content opportunities. So thank you, Kyle Dubas, for trading someone every half an hour, what it seems like. And the reason I say that is because about 20 minutes after he made this trade, this guy wasn't done, man. He went back and he went out and traded a third-round pick to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for former Toronto Maple Leaf Luke Schenn, who has become a way better defensive defenseman of late.
Yeah, and that's a perfect trade for them, honestly. He's a fantastic defenseman that I feel like they needed to round out their defense core. And now if you look at Toronto's defense core, that's a very deep, responsible defense core that they have. And don't forget, they traded away another player to New York Islanders.
They also managed to trade away Pierre Engvald, one of their fourth line checkers on their team, to clear up the cap space to make this happen. And basically they received a third round pick back. So it's a wash. They basically ended up trading Engvald to get Luke Schenn, which is, in my opinion, a very big win for this team.
Luke Schenn is actually a very good addition for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, first of all, he's played in this organization before, so he's familiar with this team already. Mm-hmm. He's familiar with some of the players that he's played with before. It's another Canadian market that he moved from Vancouver to Toronto. Honestly, if you have been to both of these cities, they're pretty similar cities.
And yeah, he knows how to deal with that pressure from a market like Toronto. Like, that's huge. And for me, one thing I think is really sneaky here, this guy has played in the past on the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I think that's going to help a little bit because that means he's practiced against these big players on this team playing defense, and he's kind of got an idea of what they do, and that's going to be the first round matchup for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. I think that's invaluable experience as a defenseman to have.
Yeah, and don't forget, they have a very good Mark Giordano at $800K. So that imagine all these experience that they have on the team at good contracts.
Man, I know I've said this before, but Kyle Dubas is a cap wizard with what he's able to do. The fact that he can pay all those big boys all that money, almost $40 million for the four of them, and still find a way to get these guys for $850K contracts to make it work is just phenomenal, and hats off to you, man.
By no means am I a Toronto Maple Leafs fan at all, but I gotta give a lot of props for Kyle Dubas and all the work that he's done so far. It's insane.
No, it's truly incredible. And I don't think he's done. Like I said, he's got that Boston first round pick and he's got his 2024 first. We might see another move. But until next time, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and feel free to like and subscribe if you did. Until next time, take care.
Bye.